From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
Breaking news, police in West Texas say at least 30 people have been shot in an active shooter situation between Odessa and Midland. Officers tell us someone stole a U.S. mail carrier truck and is driving between Odessa and Midland, shooting people at random. Police are still trying to catch that person and say there could be a second person involved in a separate vehicle. Download our free WXII 12 News mobile app to get push notifications when we learn more details about this breaking story.
I think we all have to take this very seriously.
Don't take down your shutters, not just yet.
Hurricane Dorian turning away from Florida and could now make landfall anywhere between that state and the Carolinas as a powerful Category 4 storm. Even with the storm changing tracks, leaders in places like Florida are urging people to continue preparing. The state remains under a state of emergency right now. Even if it stays offshore, the hurricane can bring life-threatening wind storm surge and flooding. North Carolina is currently in a state of emergency as well. South Carolina's governor also made that declaration today as Hurricane Dorian's track turns towards the Carolinas. For a closer look at that storm, let's turn things over to meteorologist Michelle Kennedy. Michelle?
Yeah, so the big change today, Steve, is not that it's now a Category 4 or 5 increasing. It's actually Category 4, still holding steady at that. The big change is that it's going to likely turn before it makes landfall in Florida. However, it's still going to have major impacts as a Category 4 storm approaches the Bahamas through tomorrow and now into areas of Florida on Sunday with a storm surge threat. That is the biggest concern for folks there. So we're not seeing a reduction in concern for folks along the east coast of Florida, at least not yet, until we know for certain that that track is going to shift to the north before it makes landfall. We are still going to see massive impacts there along the coast, anywhere from Daytona Beach north of Miami. You can see this track right now taking it as a Category 4 as it approaches the Florida coastline. We do anticipate now in the National Hurricane Forecast track that it will turn, but when it turns is still crucial to the timing and the impacts for folks from Jupiter all the way up through Orlando. Now, if it does remain off the coast, that means it's got to make landfall, hopefully maybe nowhere, but somewhere potentially on this current thinking. It could be somewhere near Charleston, South Carolina. Ride that coast up along our coastline as a Category 2 hurricane, potentially impacting folks from Oak Island north into Atlantic Beach and continued on a track that would take it over Nags Head. A reminder that we're talking about storm surge, which is a sea level rise from those intense storm winds and pressure changes. We're talking about a Cat 4 impact still, even if it doesn't make landfall anywhere in the central Florida area along the coast. So they still may see some significant concern before that turn happens. So power and water could be out for weeks, potentially even on this track. When it turns is going to be very important, and if it turns. So certainly one to watch. And now for the Carolinas as well, as we may see that right up along our North Carolina coast. We're going to have much more on what we expect to see with the storm next.
Michelle, thank you. And with Hurricane Dorian creeping closer to the Carolinas, one student at the University of Greensboro is especially on edge, both her home state of Florida and North Carolina under a state of emergency. She talked with our Meredith Stutz about how she's feeling ahead of the storm.
It's a picture-perfect day here on the campus of UNCG as the new class of freshmen continues to adapt to its new home. But this weekend, as Hurricane Dorian continues to loom closer, one freshman's heart is back home in Florida.
Jayla Johnson's eyes twinkle thinking about her first season suiting up with the UNCG women's basketball team.
Ready. I'm ready to start. I'm excited.
But before practice even starts, her mind keeps bouncing back home near Melbourne, Florida to Port St. John.
Seeing that this one's a Category 4 and is coming straight for my home, I was really worried for my family. This is both of my grandmothers, my cousins, my sister, and my mom.
With its ever-evolving projections, Hurricane Dorian forced Johnson's entire family into a hotel inland near Orlando.
I kind of want to be there and make sure they're okay in the moment rather than just being a phone call away.
She says it's tough being far from family this weekend, and even more so, cherishes those phone calls.
Another opportunity for us to get even closer as a family.
Choosing to weather this storm with an unshakable peace.
Keep my mind on knowing that they know how to get through the storms and my family's going to stick together, so I'm sure they'll be okay.
As she continues to watch the storm from afar, Johnson says she's holding on to sunnier days when she looks forward to hosting her family when they come cheer her on at the sidelines here at the campus of UNCG. Reporting in Greensboro, Meredith Stutz, WXII 12 News.
Meredith, thanks. Track Hurricane Dorian even when we're not on air. Download our free WXI 12 News mobile app or visit the weather section of our website, WXI12.com. We're back in a moment.